What's good, y'all, and welcome to the second installment of the Road to Infinity War series, where I will review one of 5 MCU movies every week leading up to the release of Avengers: Infinity War. With the second installment of this list being The Incredible Hulk. Honestly, probably one of the most underrated MCU movies of all time. The movie is currently staying at 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. Why am I telling you Rotten Tomatoes? Because, as we all know, Rotten Tomatoes is the end-all, be-all in terms of movies. I mean, they are never wrong. That when a movie gets a surfer red, that means that movie is straight up quality. DCU! Like, seriously, guys, after Suicide Squad, I stopped listening to Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, okay, whatever, I don't care about Rotten Tomatoes anymore. Like, I mean... Because, like, after that, I was like, okay, Rotten Tomatoes is just fucking stupid. Like, I know a lot of people didn't like Suicide Squad or BVS, but I'm like, I loved all those movies, so yeah, I stopped listening to them way after Suicide Squad. So, the movie is directed by Louis Leterrier, I probably butchered his name, he is French, and stars Edward Norton, Liv Tyler, Tim Roth, William Hurt, Tim Blake Nelson, Ty Burrell, I think I probably butchered his name, Peter Mashell, and many, many more. And the plot of the Incredible Hulk is that he is currently living in Brazil on the run from the government who wants to take the Hulk creature, I guess you can call it, and turn it into a weapon, and Bruce has to make sure that doesn't happen. And yeah, that's kind of like the basic gist of it. Now let's talk about it. Now, as I said, guys, this is honestly one of the most underrated MCU movies of all time. Like, Kevin Feige damn near makes it his job to act like this movie doesn't exist. Now, would I say it's the most underrated? I think Iron Man 3 is a little more underrated, in my personal opinion, because Iron Man 3, a lot of people hated that movie just because of what they did with the man, which I completely understand. But I feel like, so a lot of people just hated that movie because of that, but I feel like Incredible Hulk is just because a lot of people just didn't watch it. Because now, you guys are probably wondering, like, Glenn, so why was Edward Norton, recast as, Bruce Banner / Hulk? Why was he recast to Mark Ruffalo in, Avengers and so on? Well, I don't think this has been confirmed by anybody, by Edward Norton or Kevin Feige or really anyone that really worked on the movie, but apparently the reason is that Edward Norton was apparently given a layer of some creative control, but he wasn't actually given that creative control that he was promised. So from that reason, I think Kevin Feige, probably fired him, or maybe everyone on quit. I mean, Universe also did cut about 40 minutes out of the movie that was character development for Bruce Banner, which led to that we're not even advertising the movie at all. So I feel like it was a mixture of those two reasons why he was fired and why he was recast to Mark Ruffalo in Avengers, Thor Ragnarok, Ultron, Infinity War, Avengers 4, so on and so forth. Now, in case you wonder which is better, Mark Ruffalo or Edward Norton, I feel like you can't really compare those two because Mark Ruffalo has had 4 movies now. He had, of course, Avengers, Ultron, and Thor Ragnarok, and I guess you can also get Infinity War, Avengers 4 if you want to count those. So technically 5 movies, but really 3 that have been released. The fourth one's coming out this month, and Avengers 4, we know next to nothing about that movie. So I feel like you can't really compare because Edward Norton only had 1 movie while Mark Ruffalo has 4. But I feel like, okay, let's compare now from how he is in Incredible Hulk, Edward Norton, from how Mark Ruffalo is in the first Avengers movie. I'd say I like Mark Ruffalo a little more, but maybe Edward Norton was still really damn good in this movie. He was great. The rest of the cast did a fantastic job. Like I said, Edward Norton was great. Tim Roth was great. William Hurt was also great. Tim Blake Nelson was also great. The whole cast themselves were all amazing in their own right. There wasn't really a bad performance. Everyone did a very good job with the role. Like I said, guys, Kevin Feige almost makes it his job, along with Iron Man 3, to act like these movies never happened. Incredible Hulk, that movie never exists. Just sweep that under the ground. Nobody knows this movie existed. It does not exist. What is Incredible Hulk? No one knows because it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Which it's kind of disappointing, but because there's some stuff that was set up in this movie that I feel like will never get revolved. Samuel Stern, getting the Bruce Banner's blood on his cut, and he got his brain or head kind of mutates. I forget what the villain was called, but I would have liked to see maybe now apparently in Avengers Infinity War all loose ends will be tied up, but I doubt they'll have anything to do with the Incredible Hulk. Because like I said, Kevin Feige damn near makes it his job to act like the movie doesn't exist. So maybe we might get to see some closure with that, but probably not, because I doubt we're ever going to get any closure or really any answers as to what was set up in Incredible Hulk from any possible Hulk sequels that we'll probably never get, because this movie probably didn't do that well. But now let's talk about flaws I have with me. Now I really only have one. I wouldn't necessarily call it a major flaw, but kind of a flaw nonetheless. Is that I would have liked to see Bruce's travel to from Brazil or I guess Guatemala to the U.S. because we see him in Guatemala. We see him kind of spend some time with him right there, and then we kind of see him walking, and then the next time we see him, he's in Virginia with a newspaper and some clothes on, looking around looking for like Betty. I would have liked to see that explored, so like how exactly did he get to Virginia in like 17 days? Because I don't think because I'm pretty sure Guatemala's pretty far away from Virginia. I mean, you gotta go through the Mexican border, you gotta go through Mexico, you gotta go through Texas, you gotta go through so many states to get to Virginia. So I would have liked to see that kind of like expand upon. Not like saying that I wanted to see the whole trip, but like maybe like little bits and pieces of like how he got from Guatemala to the U.S. I would have liked to see how he got from there to Virginia. That's really my only flaw I had with me was that I would have liked to see that part of his travel. But besides that, nothing really comes out to me as a major flaw other than, Kevin Feige damn near makes his job, that this movie doesn't exist. So besides, now let's talk about the good. Like I said, the cast was great. The CGI for a movie that's released 10 years ago actually holds up really, really well. Like, this movie actually, like, the final battle at the end between, Hulk and the Abomination, those two are just going head to head. The CGI really still holds up. Like, I'm surprisingly well. Like, the CGI of the Hulk as a whole was really good, especially the scene where we see Bruce mutate into the Incredible Hulk on, like, that chair around the end of the movie. Like, the CGI on that still holds up very well, which I gotta give props to the CGI guys at like Universal or Marvel or whoever was in charge of all the FX, because they did a really damn good job with the CGI in this movie. And the soundtrack. The soundtrack for this movie is fantastic. It's honestly one of my favorite MCU soundtracks. This is up there with like Black Panther, Guardians, Iron Man, that's Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok was pretty good, but that was like I said, this is honestly one of my favorite MCU soundtracks. Like the song, like whoever was the composer for this soundtrack did a fantastic job. Props to him. And so that's really all I have to say on the Incredible Hulk. Like I said, guys, it is honestly one of my personal favorite MCUs. It's definitely within my top 10. Like I said, it's honestly been titled like the black sheep of the MCU. I don't argue Iron Man. I'd say I have a good, but I think Iron Man 3 might be probably a little bit more, I guess you could say, blacker. Because that movie is also pretty underrated in its own right, and like I said, Kevin Feige almost makes his job to act like that movie doesn't exist as well as the Incredible Hulk. But besides that, and also the footage you are seeing, guys, is from actually the video game adaptation of The Incredible Hulk, released back in 2008. This is also another game like Iron Man 1. I really did love this game when I was a kid. Granted, I did not get that far in the game. Like, I couldn't even get past like the second level. I won't play the first level, and then I just fuck around in New York. I would not play the rest of the game because it was just too much fun, destroying buildings and shit as the Hulk. I would always have fun playing this game. I've rented it a few times back on the rental stores or something. Rest in peace, Blockbuster. But yeah, this game was really, really fun. So my final verdict for The Incredible Hulk is a 10 out of 10. Like I said, guys, this is one of my favorite MCU movies of all time. I love it. I wish Kevin Feige wouldn't I wish this movie would get a little bit more recognition. Like, maybe, follow up on some stuff that was set up in this movie. Like, what would happen with, like, Mr. Blue and, what villain he would have turned to, because I forgot the exact name I forget what that villain was called. Like I said, overall, love this movie. Highly recommend it. If you have not seen The Incredible Hulk, I highly recommend it. Now, in case you guys wondering why I was reviewing this movie, because I usually review movies like, mostly because there's always like, each of my review is for a specific reason. This movie is really reviewing, one, because it was so underrated, and I really want to talk because I love this movie, and two, this is when we really knew that the MCU was actually a thing, because you guys remember, like, the end of the movie was the post-credits scene was actually put in the trailers, and it wasn't even put in the post-credits, it was actually before the credits, which this is like the only MCU movie that didn't have a post-credits. Well, I guess technically also Ultron didn't have one either. It just said the Avengers will return. So kind of like, you know, no, fuck you from Josh Whedon. Anyway, like when we saw the little scene at the end of the movie with, like, you know, Tony Stark talking to the Colonel, which the Colonel was like the only reoccurring character in the MCU. Like, but even then, we only wouldn't see him again until Civil War, which came out in 2016. Almost like 8 years later, after the Incredible Hulk, we would see at least one recurring character besides Hulk, besides Bruce himself. Even then, he was recasted. So, like when we saw that scene, like, you know, Tony's like, you know, I hear you have an unusual problem. You should talk, and you should listen. Like, that's when we knew that these movies were connected. Marvel was serious about this cinematic universe. And remember, people thought Marvel was crazy for trying this shit, because they're like, a cinematic universe, this will never work. Now everyone's playing catch up to Marvel. You mean, we've seen DC, Universal's trying now with their, like, you know, Dark Universe. Like, is that even still going on? Is that something there's Universal kind of like scrap that? Or are they still going through with, like, you know, their Dark Universe, cinematic universe? Yeah, so like I said, 10 out of 10 is my final verdict, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new, follow me if you're sure if you like, links in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.